Well, look who finally decided to get here. His arrival is far too late to actually benefit the others in a meaningful experience, though considering that entire video was framed around the context of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, it does create a funny implication. See, if the leaks are to be believed, Deathstroke will be released far too late into that game's live service model to benefit the others in a meaningful experience. These jokes are practically writing themselves here. Since I have him and nothing else to pair with him today, I guess I'm just reviewing him. How well does McFarlane Toys handle the Arkhamverse Deathstroke? Slade only appears canonically in 2 games, Origins and Night, with only minor visual changes between the two, and those are so minor they likely just came about from upgrading the model for the vastly more powerful hardware when the series leapt forward a console generation. He also appeared non-canonically in Arkham City Lockdown for mobile devices, but that was literally just his Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe model in the first place, giving me a second reason to not worry about that appearance. Don't get me wrong, it's a cool non-canonical appearance, but you'll, conveniently for me, just have to click on the linked video if you want to know more. Now this figure is explicitly named as the Batman Arkham Origins version of Deathstroke, which makes sense since that was his more prominent appearance of the two. In fact, his appearance in Night was originally a complete surprise, and was really cool up until, something disappointing happened to undo that effect? Still, as though to coyly acknowledge this, McFarlane did release him alongside the Arkham Knight Batman I looked at last time. This is actually the only Arkham Origins figure McFarlane has released as of writing this video, barring the weird Arkham Origins gadgets which got lumped in with the Arkham Asylum Batman figure I also looked at last time. While Slade wasn't a huge component of the game's story, he was a strong focal point in the marketing for a ton of reasons. For one, he exemplified the core concept, assassins have been summoned into Gotham to kill Batman, and he did so in a very spoiler-free way, as the marketing actually had to avoid several rather big spoilers for that game. His boss fight was very memorable, and is still one of the most popular and beloved when looking at boss fights across the whole series. He was also the bonus playable character made available through every pre-order, to mixed success, which I'll just have to break down when I get to that point in a briefish history of the Arkham series. He's complicated. Finally, and probably most crucially, Arkham Origins simply has a fucking great looking Deathstroke. I consider this peak Deathstroke costume design. Every element looks so perfect together that someone who knows nothing about Deathstroke can look at this suit and get a strong idea of what this MFer can do before any words have even been spoken about him. This clearly even inspired elements of the live-action look he got for all 90 seconds of screen time he received before the DCEU dropped him like a guy in an inappropriate relationship with a teen titan, because you can't spell DCEU without failing to follow up on setups. Let's dig in. I should probably confess about now that I am a sucker for shiny metallic paint colors, because it appears I am some sort of small bird, and the shiny orange on this guy is really doing it for me. Shiny orange is severely underrated IMHO. Like, in-game he's not even necessarily this shiny in his orange bits, closer matching his helmet ribbon, but I'm too biased to complain about it. In fact, his blue should be just a little bit shinier to match the game, though this color suffices. He will still look great in my nest to attract all the small bird ladies. Or small bird fellas. I'm a bisexual small bird. Similar to his contemporary AK Batman, McFarlane did a great job layering a lot of detail in, such as bits where his iconic scaled armor he classically wears shows through. This is a character with a lot of wear and tear and scratches and dings on his suit from all of his combat encounters, something I think would just look messy if it were printed on, so I think molding these in was a wise choice. The eyes on DC Multiverse figures have definitely gotten better and more detailed in the intervening years, but I think his eye does perfectly fine as it is here. This figure obviously speaks for himself, and it makes sense why this one is so desirable. Interestingly, I got a noteworthy discount compared to most aftermarket prices for a non-mint condition box, which I personally could barely tell, and I doubt you could tell while I was opening him up for a video. I still see someone every few months post to the subreddit that they somehow found the figure in the wild for retail price, which makes me deeply and bitterly envious, but as I rarely even see recent figures get stocked locally, I have no doubt that will never be me. The figure was worth the little extra hassle. The accessories, on the other hand, are a bit lacking. Or should I say, accessory singular. He gets a meager 1. A sword. Now, it is a very accurate sword, but even then I can't be too complaint-free. I've seen a lot of pictures where this sword seems to get inordinately bent, and while that could just be mediocre storage of a thin piece of plastic, frequently it appears to be bent in the sealed case, too. Even though I've avoided that issue, one sword is not technically accurate. This Deathstroke, like many others, carries 2. He only uses one in the boss fight because Batman disarms the other during his ambush cutscene. If there were other accessories, I wouldn't care, but this is a desolate wasteland of accessories. Slade is always going commando. He should have a filled arsenal. They had so many choices. A pistol would be a good start. DC has gotten unduly weird in recent years about denying gun-toting characters their guns in physical merchandise intended for adults. But McFarlane was able to give guns at the very least back then. Asylum Joker was the wave before this, and he had his gun. And this Deathstroke even has one molded into his leg in a perma-holster. Even if this wave was when DC's nonsense demands kicked in, there are so many other choices for gadgets and tools. Grenades are still perfectly allowed with their figures. A staff would be more than appropriate for this version. Hell, one of the Origins gadgets Batman has is the remote claw, which he took from Slade. This piece came out right before he did. They could have just kept making more for this figure. As it stands, I'll just have to equip him with a generic pistol I had to buy in a McFarlane accessories pack, because of course Todd capitalized on DC's negligence. Deathstroke had one repaint. Like Arkham Knight Batman, he had a nearly all gold and bronze version, but unlike Batman, who had his crest bat symbol painted in black to stand out in the middle of the figure, Deathstroke's odd patch-out is just the blind side of his helmet painted in black. It looks very dumb and accidentally sloppy without any additional black detailing elsewhere being located where it is, this high up and away from the rest of the figure. The black looked good breaking it up. This, unfortunately, does not break anything up. This is the only current Arkhamverse Deathstroke we have, but I feel like blabbering more. And I know Todd watches these, so I think we could easily come up with a reason to release more here. For one, he could make the blue parts shiny this time, with a brighter matte orange, and just call it a new version. He has re-released Green Lantern John Stewart for less, after all. Alternately, he could make an unmasked head mold, since he loses the helmet early on in the boss fight, and since Slade is one of the rare comic book characters who remains just as iconic without his mask thanks to his striking white hair and eye patch. Realistically, he could also just make up a color scheme and sell it. He did that for the movie version of The Flash. This color scheme was not present for his costume, and it's still one of the best McFarlane figures I own. So if we're considering some new variations for this Deathstroke... Oh, god damn it. I genuinely should not be surprised at this point.